Today, on our study session for the SIE exam, we are tackling the bedrock of all securities regulation, the major federal laws and the commission that enforces them. We will be breaking down the Securities Act of 1933 and the Securities Exchange Act of 1934. Understanding the division of labor between these two is absolutely critical for the exam. Let's start with the first one, the Securities Act of 1933. This act governs the primary market. The primary market is where securities are created and sold for the first time. Think of an initial public offering, or IPO. The core principle of the 1933 Act is full and fair disclosure. It is often called the truth in securities law. Its goal is to ensure that investors receive all the significant information about a security being offered for public sale, so they can make an informed decision. The main tools here are the registration statement and the prospectus. Before a company can offer its stock to the public, it must file a detailed registration statement with the Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC. A condensed version of this, the prospectus, must be delivered to every investor who buys the new issue. Here is a classic exam trap. A question might ask what it means when the SEC clears a registration. Many test takers mistakenly think this means the SEC has approved the security or has judged it to be a good investment. This is incorrect. The SEC does not approve or disapprove of any security. Their role is simply to ensure that the company has disclosed all the necessary information. When the registration is cleared, it is declared effective, which just means the company has met the disclosure requirements and can proceed with the sale. Remember, the SEC is a disclosure agency, not a merit-based one. Now, let's move to the Securities Exchange Act of 1934. If the 33 Act is about the birth of securities, the 34 Act is about their entire life afterward in the secondary market. This is where you and I trade existing securities on exchanges like the New York Stock Exchange or NASDAQ. The 34 Act is much broader in scope. First, and this is a key fact for the exam, the Securities Exchange Act of 1934 is what actually created the SEC. It gave the SEC the authority to regulate the securities industry. This act requires public companies to continue reporting information to the public through filings like the annual 10K report and the quarterly 10Q report. It also regulates broker-dealers, exchanges, and corporate insiders. It contains provisions to prevent fraud and manipulation, such as rules against insider trading. So, how do you keep them straight on the exam? Here is a simple way to remember it. Think 33 is for primary. It regulates the primary market, the first-time issuance of securities. Then think 34 is for trading more. It regulates the secondary market, where securities are traded more and more, day after day. The 33 Act is about the prospectus, while the 34 Act is about ongoing reporting like 10Ks. Finally, let's discuss the SEC's enforcement authority, which is a frequent topic for exam questions. The SEC has broad powers to enforce these acts. It can conduct investigations, issue subpoenas, and bring civil lawsuits against individuals and companies that violate securities laws. Penalties can include fines, disgorgement of ill-gotten gains, and even being barred from the industry. However, the biggest trap here concerns the limits of the SEC's power. The SEC is a civil authority, not a criminal one. This means the SEC cannot put someone in prison. If, during an investigation, the SEC finds evidence of willful criminal activity, it must refer the case to the Department of Justice, or DOJ. The DOJ is the entity that can bring criminal charges and seek jail time. An exam question might list potential SEC actions and include imprisonment. That will be the distractor you need to avoid. The SEC's power stops at the jailhouse door.